All right. That's it. We are live. Thanks for joining me today. Fantastic show. Got some good topics, some topics you may not hear anyone else, and I'm really excited to share them with you. Real quick, let's go over what that is. First, Flame On. It's January 24th, and the topics I'm going to talk about is Beyonce taking the bag, getting that money. A little controversy there. I'm going to talk about some Ukrainian grafters, the difference between grafting and grifting. Colombia's got a new war going on. Get to that. And it is the return of Big Idea Wednesday, where I talk about a psychological thing that you may kind of understand. I'll put it in a little more perspective, how it can affect you in your life. And I'm also streaming live today for the first time on Twitter. So I'm going to give that a go, see if that works, see if anyone watches, get any response. Just a quick reminder before we get going that I got one of these. I got to remember which way to point. I got one of these over on the YT, and it was denied, and that's not good. So it's important that you follow me on other places if you like this content. Be sure to hit that like button. Going for 50 likes today. I think we can do it. It's real easy. Doesn't cost anything. You just click on the little thumbs up or the little fire or whatever it happens to be on the platform you're watching. Yeah, it means a lot to me. But one thing I'm going to do today, just a little preview, is my Big Idea Wednesday. I'm going to be talking about being overwhelmed to the point where you can't do anything. And I am going to make that a separate video that will come out after the live stream, hopefully to reach people that may not be interested in watching a big, long live stream. They may only be interested in the one little topic, so that will be a separate video that I'll put out later today. But it's going to be the exact same thing from the show. It's just going to be a clip from the show. So don't get confused on that. You go, oh, this is a new video. That's what it is. So that's it. We are ready to go. Hit my music. All right, and I am glad to see we got a couple people in the chat. What's up, Diet Sprite? Flame on. I do appreciate that. I have checked, and it looks like I am live on all the other platforms. So that is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. We're on 4 right now. Today, but remember, I have the same handle on all platforms. That's right. My name is Tom Coffee. The show is Coffee and Nuance. I am at Coffee and Nuance. If you have suggestions, you can leave them in the comment. I love all the comments, and I do read all your comments, even if I don't respond to them all. You can also hit me up on Twitter with a DM if you have something to say. I don't think I've ever said that before, but I'm doing that today. So, yeah, let's get to the first story. And we are talking about Beyonce, Queen Bee. Now, supposedly everybody loves her. Not this guy. I don't, doesn't do it for me. But I don't think I'm her audience. But the U.S. Beyonce megastar, right, international megastar, she headlined a private concert in Dubai, to mark the opening of a luxury hotel, Atlantis Royal. Now, despite the strict no phones policy, that didn't work. That didn't stop people in the 1,500-seat gig flooding the internet with scenes from the concert. Many fans were thrilled to see the return of the Queen, but others were not so happy because Dubai has strict laws against same-sex relationships. Now, here's the irony. Her latest album, Renaissance, has been celebrated as honoring black queer culture and taking inspirations from LGBT icons. Beyonce reportedly received 24 million for the performance. Dubai is part of the United Arab Emirates, which has strict laws and rules against homosexuality, similar to nearby Qatar. That's who had the World Cup this year. Some fans and gay rights activists are criticizing the performer for making her live return to Dubai. So, you ever been to Dubai? I've been there. Felt like I was in a different world. Very, very odd. Lots of people with walking around with AK-47s. It was an odd place. Very clean. But this entire thing of, like, should we criticize performers for taking blood money, right, for performing for people that we don't agree with, that has been a topic. It's been going back in the 80s. It kind of reminds me of the Sun City protest. I don't know if you remember that or if you're old enough to remember that, but there was lots of stars got together, kind of like a We Are the World, but it was about Sun City, which was a resort in South Africa. And they, ain't gonna play Sun City. They made a song and it was on MTV and all that. And they discouraged any performers for performing in South Africa at the time they had apartheid. And so that was a way that performers would have some ethics. Don't really see that anymore. Don't really see performers getting together to stop anyone else from taking the bag. But that did take place in the 80s, the Sun City thing. Actually, that was started by Saul Kersner. He also did Mohegan Sun on the East Coast. You may know that. And he did Atlantis in Bahamas. He was not quite a billionaire. I think he was worth like 600 mil. He passed away 2-3 years ago. I actually met him when I lived in the Seychelles. Hung out with him. He was there bidding on an island. And that was interesting, but he was a cool guy to me. But I don't know, I'm rambling. But that's the thing. Should Beyonce be called out for performing there? And it gets to the question. This is the question. How much is enough? People sell out. I'm not going to, people can do whatever they want to get that money. We all have different things. To me, if I had a certain amount of money, there is nothing. There's no amount of money that you could pay me to do something that I was morally against. And just some people, they'll take any money for any reason whatsoever. How much is enough? I think Beyonce and Jay-Z together, they've got to be worth $1 billion. That's not enough. That's not enough that you're going to debut performance for your album, which is supposed to honor black queer culture, and you're going to do it in a country that doesn't allow you to be gay. Wow. I mean, the hypocrisy is pretty rich, but we can't expect much. Can you expect more from Beyonce? I never did. I never really looked up to her. And to me, it's a big who cares. Like, if she wants to go over there and perform, take millions of dollars, knock yourself out. But again, I'm not the one saying that I'm standing up for and celebrating black queerness. If I were doing that, I don't think I could do that. But we all have different lines. What's your line? I don't know. And now we get to Ukraine. That's right. Some interesting things going on. Again, we got a lot more make you think you. Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, announced the dismissal of a dozen top officials in a major political shakeup following the country's first major corruption scandal linked to the Russian invasion. Now, Western allies have allocated billions of dollars in financial and military aid to Kyiv to counter the Russian troops. And often they precondition this by saying, we need to support some anti-corruption. Well, the shakeup came after Ukrainian Deputy Minister in Development of Communities and Territories, Vasyl Lazysky, was sacked at the weekend following his arrest on suspicion of embezzlement. The Defense Ministry separately announced the resignation of Deputy Minister Shapovalov, who worked on providing logistical support for the army. Now, here's the big news, though. The United States welcomed the dismissals and said that none of the billions and billions and billions of dollars that the U.S. war assistant was involved in this. So the U.S. has given, I've lost track, right, 40 billion, what, to Ukraine? Not a single U.S. dollar was embezzled. All of that embezzlement, that was from other countries. That none of that was U.S. money. And we know this because we don't make Ukraine show where any of the money goes. We don't ask for any accounting of any of the billions and billions and billions of dollars. We don't require that. There's no auditing. But rest assured that we know that none of the U.S. money went to any of these grafters. And as a side note, I had to look this up. The difference between grifting and grafting, a grafter is someone with power and influence that steals. And a grifter is often a small-time thief, small-time con artist, pickpocket. That's a grifter. But if you're a leader, you're grafting. So, at least that's what I heard about it. Let me know, do you believe this claim that not a single dollar from the U.S. is involved in any of this corruption in Ukraine? Because I have my doubts. And we are getting to Colombia. That's right. I speak a lot about Colombia. Tom, you talk about Colombia like every week, at least one story. I'm kind of interested in Colombia. I was there in the fall. And so I just keep finding out stuff about it. But I do think that these are interesting stories. Colombian government, led by Gustavo Petro, he announced plans to reduce force eradication efforts of coca crops, which has been one of the country's main strategies to curb coca, the raw ingredient in cocaine. Colombia is the world's largest cocaine producer, and the cultivation of the coca plants has recently hit record levels. That's a shock. Government has historically deployed security forces to fumigate and manually remove individual coca crops, but the Petro administration's promised to shift their tactics, moving away from these policies that disadvantage sustenance farmers and promising instead to pursue drug trafficking leaders. The reduced eradication goals are the latest policy change in the administration's ongoing effort to upend the decades-long war on drugs. So what they were doing was not working. So what they were doing is they were looking for these fields of coca plants and going in and pulling them and killing the plants. Instead, they've decided to go after the sellers, to go after the big kingpins. Well, that's an interesting change of strategy. You know, when we think about what would the best war on drugs policy be here in the U.S., going after the supply didn't seem to work. Going after the dealers didn't seem to work. I do appreciate them trying to change some of the tactics. In the article, it did talk about how in Colombia, they were going to try to financially incentivize small farmers to grow things other than coca plants. And perhaps that might work better than what is currently going on, because what is currently going on is not working at all. So, yeah, I do want to say on a side note, I don't think anyone in the U.S. Should be doing any cocaine. Not that cocaine isn't fun, but now finding good cocaine is very difficult, and you don't know if it's laced with fentanyl. Lots of people have been dying because their drugs have been laced with fentanyl, and that is dangerous. Now, if you travel down to Colombia and you got a good source for it, you know, knock yourself out. But I would advise anyone in the U.S. in 2023 just to stay away from the drug, not because it's against the law. I mean, here in Oregon, it's legal. Everything's decriminalized. But just because you don't know the purity of it, and it could have some other drugs in it, cut with some other drugs that might kill you. So to me, it's too big a risk. There I go, giving advice. But do you think this change in tactic is going to do anything for Colombia? Let me know in the comments. And it is Wednesday, Big Idea Wednesday. Today, I've got a really interesting topic that I think everyone can relate to. It's a phenomenon known as overwhelm freeze. That's when you're feeling overwhelmed because you have a long to-do list, leading to a lack of motivation, lack of productivity. And they've called it overwhelm freeze. It's a psychological response to stress. This is a natural thing. So if this happens to you, just know that many people react the exact same way. That's how your body responds to it. Experts are suggesting that people that suffer from this should practice some stress-reducing techniques. Okay, you can do some deep breathing. Physical exercise is always good. I love to dance to music. I teach dance fitness. I know that I feel better after I dance, so you can put on a song, dance around your kitchen, and that may shake you out of it a little bit. And self-reminders that this is totally normal. You don't have to be perfect. Nobody cares about being perfect. Just look at this show as an example. We don't need to be perfect. The important thing is to do something. So what is suggested to overcome this overwhelm freeze is break down the tasks into small, specific steps and start with something really easy and pleasant and just build up some momentum. It's also something that you can try is bribe yourself, right? Just tell yourself, okay, if I get this done, I'll get a little reward. You know, nothing wrong with that after you complete a task. Now, once you get one task done, that's going to increase your motivation, get some momentum going. But the important thing is to take action. What you don't want to do is do nothing and let it build and have that feeling of being overwhelmed persist for too long. That's not healthy. So pick one small thing that you can accomplish and just do that one thing. And it's going to change how you feel. It's going to make you have a little bit better outlook on things, because just laying down on the couch and just being stressed out, nobody likes that. That's not fun, and it doesn't get better on its own. And so those are some techniques that you can use to move along and get out of that feeling that we all get sometimes when we're overwhelmed. That is the big idea. If you have any other ideas on how to overcome feeling overwhelmed, let me know in the comments. That is it for today. Stick around after the outro. I'll be reading your comments. And there's a big idea. Every Wednesday, I do a live show that has lots of stories. If you only saw this big idea, I do a live show with many stories that you can check out. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe on this video. I am going for 50 likes. I think we can do it, and I appreciate your help in that. But I hope you all have an awesome day. I'll see you next time, tomorrow. Peace. Okay, there's still a couple people here. Thanks for sticking around. Let's check out what's going on. Hey, Diet Sprite. I am the idea man. Jody finally made it. Glad you could make it. Colombian coffee is the best. I agree, Jesse Leon. Colombian coffee is great. When I was down in Medellin, I went out for coffee every single day. I was there and to a different place everywhere. And it was really fun. And I would get just straight black coffee and little coffee drinks. I probably had coffee overload from when I was there. But one of the things that I did learn that a lot of the coffee, not necessarily in the fancier neighborhood that I was staying at, but a lot of the coffee in Colombia, they sell the good stuff, right? So a lot of the good stuff is sold and exported, and there is supposedly some of the coffee in Colombia is not as good. I didn't find that. I found it all great. But that's it. Natasha, thanks for clarifying the difference between grift and graft. Yeah, I didn't even know that. I was double checking myself this morning, and I was probably a little bit wrong, but I'll figure that out. I hate it when my illegal drugs aren't pure. I do too. You know. I really think it's too dangerous to take any drugs if you're not sure about the purity of them. So that's it. Doug is jumping in late. Good to see you, Drugs. Diet Sprite says, drugs are bad, bro. Yes, they are. They are bad, but kind of fun. But bad. Natasha says, snorting the coca helps with Overwhelm freeze. I'm sure that it does, but it could kill you with the fentanyl, and that is a catch-22. Yeah, thanks for the good show today. Thanks, Diet Coke. Hey, Jody. Jody gave me some hearts. I appreciate it. And as a reminder, those people that are here, let's add to the 50 likes. Or let's get me to the 50 likes. I haven't hit 50 likes yet this year. But I was hitting 25 every day, so I upped the goal. So now we're at 50. I did stream live today on Twitter. So I'm going to be interested to see if there was anything from that. Looking over at Rumble. Oh, hey, what's up, Doug? Doug042 is on Rumble. Very brave of Colombia to try to take on the CIA. It is. That is a very, very tricky person to take on, or group to take on. Checking over in Odyssey. Not a single person's there yet, but that means we've got room to grow. And lastly, I am broadcasting on Twitter, but I don't see any viewers. So 0 viewers, but that's okay because I learned how to do it. That's all I got for y'all today. Thank you so much. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you mañana. Peace.